My parents chose my sister's wedding instead of my graduation. My sister is getting married next year, May 17th, 2025. This is a problem because I graduate that day. I was informed about the date in March. Long story short, I was looking at my academic calendar just a few days ago, and I found out that that was my graduation day. My school usually graduates during the first week of May, so this surprised me. I let my parents know about the date, and they told me to tell my sister. When I told her about the date, I asked her if could change the date. She told that she already changed the date 3 times, and she wasn't going to change it for a 4th. She told me that she was sorry and she'll understand if I can't come. I was kind of upset by this because I thought it was very dismissive. When I told her that, she got mad and told me that I can't expect her to try and change her date again, and that it was set and it was final. Now I'm kind of worried that none of my family members would be at my graduation and I won't be able to see my sister get married. I understand that it's an inconvenience for her, but she could change her wedding date. I have no control over my graduation date. When I talked to my parents about who's going to be at my graduation, they just told me not to worry about that right now because it's not time to stress about that. But I am. My parents are telling me that they are going to try and convince my sister to change the date, but I doubt she will. It's May 20th now and I graduated. Everyone in my family went to my sister's wedding. I didn't go. My parents left me my mom's car so I'd have transportation while they were away and could still make it to my graduation. I graduated top 5 in my class, and I did felt alone. When my name was called, a few people in the crowd clapped, but it wasn't like everyone else who had their whole families cheering, yelling, and making noise. It was very embarrassingly quiet. You could feel that I didn't have anyone there. However, I didn't even know my school livestream graduations on Facebook until the day afterwards. The camera angle was so far away you couldn't really see me, though. You could only hear my voice and see me when I was at the podium reading the pledge and when they said my name. That was it. Afterwards, I went to McDonald's and then went home because my graduation ended around 5 p.m., and my parents didn't make it home until around 11 that night. My parents tried to plan a celebratory dinner for me Sunday, but the place I really wanted to eat at is closed on Sundays and Mondays. Now they're pushing it to this Saturday so everyone in the family could come. I already told them they can't really make up for missing my graduation, though. At least that's how I feel. A dinner after the fact doesn't fix how invisible I felt. To be honest, they're upset that I said a dinner wouldn't really make up for missing my graduation. They said they thought long and hard about it and figured I'd still have the chance to graduate college later on, and they could see me then. Meanwhile, they wouldn't have to miss my sister's wedding since she'll only get married once. My sister and the rest of the family have been texting me congratulations now, but it all just feels late, if that makes sense. I don't know. I'm happy I graduated, but I did feel a little overlooked. So, after everything that happened, I kinda just shut down emotionally for a couple of days. I didn't really answer texts or calls from anyone in my family. I saw the congrats texts coming in, but honestly, I didn't even have the energy to open most of them. It felt so forced, like they suddenly remembered I existed after the wedding was over. On Sunday morning, my mom came into my room acting like everything was totally normal. She was smiling, trying to talk about the wedding, showing me photos and videos, laughing about how crazy Uncle Mike got on the dance floor. I just stared at her. Like, seriously? I literally spent one of the most important days of my life alone, and now we're gonna pretend that didn't happen? Eventually, I just told her, "Mom, I'm not in the mood for this." Her smile kinda dropped, and she sat down on my bed and did that whole, "Listen, we didn't want it to be like this" speech. But the more she talked, the more it just felt like excuses. She said they were torn, but in the end, the wedding had to come first. I asked her straight up, if it was my sister graduating and me getting married, would you have picked her graduation over my wedding? And without even hesitating, she said, "Well, a wedding is a once-in-a-lifetime thing. Graduation happens more than once." That stung. I didn't even respond. I just nodded like, got it. My dad barely said anything. He kinda stood in the doorway, listening, but avoided eye contact the entire time. At one point, he tried that whole, "We did what we thought was best for the family" line, but it honestly made me feel worse. Best for the family, except me, apparently. The worst part? They started hyping up this dinner they planned for next Saturday like it was supposed to magically fix everything. My mom kept saying, "We want to celebrate you. This is your night," but it just felt fake. Like, if it was really about me, why couldn't you have just come to the actual graduation? I told them I wasn't sure if I even wanted to go to the dinner. My mom got kind of defensive, saying, "We're trying here. You're being ungrateful." Bro, ungrateful? Seriously? I sat alone at my own graduation while y'all were out taking group photos at the wedding, and I'm ungrateful? Later that afternoon, my sister called. I almost didn't pick up, but curiosity got the better of me. The first thing she said was, "Hey, just wanted to say congrats. I saw the live stream. You looked really good up there." It was weird. I could tell she was trying, but it still felt hollow. I told her, "Yeah, thanks. Wish someone had been there." And there was this awkward pause. She sighed and said, "Look, I really couldn't change the date again. It wasn't just about me, it was about his family too. We already paid deposits. People already had flights booked. You don't get how stressful it was. And maybe she's right, but it still didn't make it hurt less. Then she dropped the classic, "I hope you're not going to hold this against me forever." And honestly, I don't even know how to respond to that. I told her, "I don't know, I'm trying, but it really hurt." She went quiet for a second and then said, "Well, I guess I'll see you Saturday at the dinner." And I didn't even answer. I just said, "We'll see." The next couple of days were just weird. Like, the atmosphere at home was off. My parents were doing this thing where they acted super nice to me, like overly nice, asking if I needed anything, if I wanted to go out for lunch, if I wanted help with anything. But it didn't feel genuine. It felt like damage control. On Tuesday, I went out by myself just to clear my head. I drove around for a bit, grabbed some iced coffee, and ended up parking at this random park. I just sat there scrolling through my phone, looking at everyone else's graduation pictures with their families, their parents hugging them, holding flowers, smiling like their kid was the most important person in the world. And I couldn't help but think, damn, must be nice. I kept thinking about how all those years of late-night studying, stressing over grades, pushing myself to be top 5 in my class, it was all supposed to lead to this one day. A day where I'd feel proud, celebrated. But nope. Instead, it felt like I was the side quest no one had time for. Later that night, I saw my mom and dad whispering in the kitchen. I walked in, and they immediately got quiet. My mom smiled awkwardly and asked if I wanted to help her bake cookies for the dinner Saturday. I just said, "No, I'm good," and went back to my room. I could hear her whisper, "He's still mad," as I walked away. Like, yeah, obviously. My phone kept blowing up with family group chat messages. Pictures from the wedding, videos, selfies, people dancing, the cake, the bouquet toss. It was like they forgot I existed until someone randomly remembered and dropped a "congrats again, my name" in the chat, like it would balance things out. I muted the group chat. I just couldn't look at it anymore. Every time my phone buzzed, it was like a punch in the gut. Not because I wasn't happy for my sister, I mean, I guess I was, but because it felt like everyone had chosen her happiness over mine without even thinking twice. Wednesday rolled around and I got a text from my cousin, the only one who even kind of gets me in this family. She said, "Hey, just want to say I'm proud of you. I wish I could have been there, but my parents made me go to the wedding. It wasn't fair." And honestly, that meant more to me than anything anyone else said. We ended up talking for like 2 hours, just venting, laughing at how ridiculous our family can be, sharing dumb memes. It was the first time since graduation that I felt a little bit normal again, like someone actually saw me. But then Thursday came, and guess who showed up at the house? My grandma. Yep. She showed up with a big old cake that said, "Congrats grad" in bright blue frosting. She walked in acting like everything was totally fine, gave me this awkward hug and said, "Well, better late than never, right?" I didn't even know what to say to that. As much as I wanted to be mad, it was kinda impossible with her. She's old school, doesn't really get how hurtful this all was. She sat me down and started talking about how proud she was, but then immediately pivoted to telling me every single detail about the wedding. Who wore what? Who got too drunk? How pretty my sister looked walking down the aisle. I just sat there nodding, counting the seconds until it was over. After Grandma left, I just sat there staring at the cake. It was sitting on the kitchen counter, super bright and colorful, but it just felt empty. Like, what's the point now? It kind of felt like when someone forgets your birthday and shows up a week later with a gas station balloon, expecting everything to be fine. Later that night, my dad tried talking to me again. He came into my room, sat on the edge of my bed like he used to when I was a kid, and started with, "Look, I know this isn't how you wanted things to go." And for a second, I thought maybe, just maybe, he was gonna actually apologize. But nope. He followed it up with, "But sometimes in life, sacrifices have to be made." Sacrifices. Yeah. Easy to say when I'm the one being sacrificed. I just stared at him. I didn't even bother arguing. What's the point? It felt like no matter what I said, they'd always justify it. Always find a way to make it sound like this was the only option, like there wasn't a choice. Then he pulled the "we'll be at your college graduation for sure" card again. Like, bro, do you even hear yourself? That's 4 years away, assuming nothing else more important comes up. I didn't even respond. Just shrugged and said, "Yeah, sure," to get him out of my room. On Friday, the day before the dinner, my sister texted me again. "Hey, are you coming tomorrow?" "No, hey, no, how are you? Just straight to the point." I left her on red for a couple hours because honestly, I didn't even know how to answer. When I finally replied, I said, "I don't know, haven't decided." She hit me back with, "It would mean a lot if you did." And that low-key pissed me off. Like, oh, now it would mean a lot? Where was that energy when I was walking across that stage alone? Friday night was kind of miserable. My parents were running around the house, cleaning, cooking, setting stuff up for the dinner like it was some huge event. It felt like they were trying so hard to make this dinner the redemption arc for skipping my graduation. I stayed in my room most of the night, played some video games, scrolled TikTok, just tried to not think about how awkward Saturday was going to be. But the more I thought about it, the more I felt like, why should I even go? Why should I sit at a table with a bunch of people who didn't care enough to show up when it actually mattered? Around midnight, my cousin texted again. She said, "Are you really going to go tomorrow?" I told her I didn't know. And she said, "If it were me, I wouldn't. But that's me. You gotta do what feels right." And man, that hit me hard. Because honestly, I didn't even know what felt right anymore. I barely slept that night. Just laid there staring at the ceiling, overthinking everything. Part of me felt like if I skipped the dinner, it'd just prove to everyone that I'm dramatic or holding a grudge. But the other part of me was like, why should I fake it? Why should I pretend everything's cool when it's not? Saturday morning came way too fast. I woke up around 9 a.m. to the sound of my mom vacuuming the living room like her life depended on it. I could already hear pots clanging in the kitchen, people laughing, doors opening and closing. The house was full of energy, but none of it felt like it was for me. I sat on my bed for a good hour just debating, staring at my closet, thinking, do I even bother getting dressed for this? I checked my phone, saw the family group chat blowing up with messages like, "Can't wait to celebrate," and "So proud of you, buddy." Like, seriously? Where was all this energy a week ago? Around noon, my dad knocked on my door and poked his head in. "Hey, you getting ready?" he asked, trying to sound casual. I just shrugged and said, "Yeah, maybe." He nodded like he wanted to say more, but then walked away without pushing it. The more I thought about it, the more it pissed me off. Like, how are we about to sit down, eat cake, take pictures, and pretend like everything's cool? You don't get to skip the main event and then try to show up for the after party. Around 1 p.m., my cousin texted me again. "I'm here. It's kind of weird. Everyone's acting like nothing happened, like it's just a normal family gathering." That honestly made me feel even worse. I started feeling like if I went, it'd just be this fake performance. Smile for the pictures, pretend to laugh, nod while everyone says how proud they are. Then my mom came upstairs. She didn't even knock, just walked right in with a button-up shirt on a hanger. "Here, I ironed this for you," she said, placing it on my desk. "People are starting to ask where you are." And I swear, the way she said it, like I was the one being difficult, like I was the problem for not being ready to play along with this charade. I looked her dead in the eye and said, "I don't know if I'm coming." Her whole face dropped. "What do you mean? Everyone's here for you." And man, that was it. I snapped. "No, they're not. They're here to make themselves feel better about skipping my graduation." For a second, she just stood there like she couldn't believe I said that. Then she started with, "That's not fair, But I cut her off. No. What's not fair is sitting alone at graduation while everyone else has their family cheering for them. What's not fair is me finding out on Facebook that my school live streamed it because no one told me. What's not fair is you acting like this dinner makes up for it." She didn't even know what to say. Her mouth opened like she was about to argue, but nothing came out. Then she just sighed, shook her head, and said, "I hope you change your mind," before walking out. After she left, I just sat there. My heart was racing, hands shaking. I felt like I should have felt better after saying all that, but honestly, I just felt empty, sad, tired. Like, why did it have to come to this? I sat there for like another 20 minutes just staring at the wall. I could hear people downstairs laughing, music playing, the smell of food starting to fill the whole house. It was this weird feeling of being so close to everyone, but at the same time feeling completely disconnected. My cousin texted again, "Dude, everyone keeps asking where you are. Your mom just told them you're not feeling well." That actually made me laugh a little. Not because it was funny, but because, of course. Of course they'd rather say I'm sick than admit the real reason I wasn't downstairs. Around 2 p.m., my dad came up. He knocked this time, waited, and when I didn't answer, he cracked the door open. "Hey, look, I know you're upset, and I get it, but like, you coming down or not?" His tone wasn't angry, it was tired, worn out. I looked at him for a second and just said, "I don't think so." He didn't argue, didn't try to guilt trip me, just nodded slowly and said, "All right, if you change your mind, you know where we are." Then he closed the door and walked away. I spent the next couple hours just laying there, listening, plates clinking, people laughing, someone singing "Happy Graduation" off-key. I heard my name pop up a few times, followed by awkward chuckles. It was like surreal. Like I was watching a movie of someone else's life happening in the room below me. Around 5 p.m., the noise started dying down. I guess people were leaving. I heard doors closing, cars pulling out of the driveway, then silence. For the first time that day, the house actually felt calm. My cousin texted me one last time before leaving. Just want to say again, I'm proud of you. And you were right not to come down. None of this felt real anyway. That text honestly meant more to me than anything anyone else in that house did all day. A little later, my mom came back upstairs. She knocked this time. She walked in with a plate of food in one hand and that stupid cake in the other. She didn't say much, just set it down on my desk and said, "Here, in case you get hungry." Her voice sounded small, not angry, not defensive, just tired, sad maybe. I didn't say anything. She stood there for a second like she was waiting for me to respond, but when I didn't, she just nodded and left, closed the door quietly behind her, and that was it. No apology, no big heart-to-heart, just silence. I sat there looking at that plate of food, that cake with "Congrats Grad" in bright blue letters, and it hit me. This was probably always how it was going to be. Me doing my own thing. Figuring it out alone. And maybe that sucks. Maybe it's unfair. But at least now, I know where I stand.